Tariq Fatmi has been ambassador to the US and knows the inner workings of the US government. Eye of the Storm talked to him about the making of the bill and the controversy.
Mr. Tariq Fatmi, the Kerry-Lugar bill, which has now become a law, had been in the debate and drafting stage for a long time. And also we know that the US officials were in contact not only with the government, but also with the opposition parties and also with the army. Then why raise such a fuss now on this issue?
I think the failure is really on the part of our government. Why? A, they should have briefed the cabinet, which they did not. They should have briefed their coalition partners, which their coalition partners claimed did not happen. They should have discussed it and debated it, or at least informed the parliament, which they did not. They should have taken the other stakeholders, I mean primarily the three services and the Joint Chiefs, into confidence. They claim, I don't know, that they were taken on board very late, and their reservations and their misgivings which were conveyed.
But do you think that we should really accept it that army was not taken into confidence?
I'm just telling you what
because
they
we know
claim.
that American officials, when they meet with the government officials, they also meet with the military also.
You are not understanding how the American system functions. When the government officials were coming here, for example, Admiral Mullen or the other generals, they were not discussing the wordings or the conditionalities of the aid bill. They were talking of the aid bill in its concept, in its larger framework. I'm just saying that this is what they say. I'm not privy to what is happening. All I'm saying is that it was such an important event in our relations with the United States. And given the fact that the US Congress was aiming for certain elements in the bill that the government should have appreciated early on, would create controversy in Pakistan. For its own good, it should have discussed and debated and taken these people on board.
But do you think that opposition and the army have genuine concerns, or do you think that they can really justify the concerns being raised on the Kerry-Lugar bill?
It's not the bill per se that people are opposed to. It's not the fact that the United States is providing $1.5 billion primarily in economic assistance, primarily meant for the people of Pakistan, motivated by a desire on the part of the Americans to strengthen democracy, the rule of law, judiciary, which are all admirable things. And we should be doing that. But the fact that some of the language of the bill is definitely offensive. Some of the conditionalities could have been worded better. And that is why I repeat, it's a repetition, but it is true, and it needs to be known by people of Pakistan that the fault primarily lies with us, not with the Americans.
But at the same time, you are saying that the language and the content of the bill could have been improved.
Of course.
On the other hand,
but
you're also saying that government also mishandled this issue.
No, but whose responsibility it is? It's our responsibility, our leadership, our representatives, our diplomatic representatives in Washington, in Islamabad. It's their job. It's not the opposition that is supposed to go and...
the government would say that it's not our legislation.
No.
It's the legislation of the US Congress.
Yes. Only
so we can't do anything.
Yeah. Only those who are ignorant of how the American system functions will say this. Having been involved year after year after year in this business, nobody can tell me this. I have on dozens of occasions gone into the House and the Senate committees and subcommittees and actually had sections of it redrafted.
So do you think that government should take responsibility for this?
In fact, the American system, my dear friend, welcomes these interventions. They invite you to come and share your thoughts with them. They, in fact, sit down with you and say, okay, you have a problem with this particular paragraph. How do you wish us to write it? This is how bills are drafted, unlike bills in any other country.
But do you think that now it's really becomes a non-issue, the conditionalities or the concerns, because this Kerry-Lugar bill has already become a law? What really Pakistan can do now if the opposition or the military are still raising concerns over it?
But Pakistan's concerns should continue to be voiced. Why? Because in the American system, you need to make your point frequently, vociferously, and at regular intervals. I think the fact that some of the language has been offensive, which is now being acknowledged indirectly by these two gentlemen in the fact that they have issued the statement, should continue to be voiced, so that in subsequent legislation, some of it could be either modified, some of it could be removed, and a degree of greater civility could be injected into subsequent bills.
Yes. And many people would ask that where was the army at that time, when now they are raising concerns that some of the conditionalities are really intrusive and they may impact the national security. Where was the army at that time when under General Musharraf, they were receiving financial assistance from the United States?
General Musharraf had the good fortune of being the head of state as well as the chief of the army. So he was representing the wishes of the army itself. So possibly because he had himself agreed to it, he had no problems. But you are absolutely right. It is the elected government through its representatives in the parliament and in the cabinet who are the guardians of the country's honor, dignity, sovereignty, independence, whatever you want to say. And all other institutions are subservient. They have to act under the guidance, under the control of the elected representative. There should be no doubt. In fact, one of the clauses to which many people have taken umbrage is the fact that the Secretary of State will have to certify that, you know, the army and the others are working under the civilian setup and they are not sabotaging it, which in essence is exactly what you and I want, because that is the essence. That is the soul of a representative democratic system. The problem is we don't want others to tell us because it hurts our pride. So people are getting upset.
So what impact do you foresee regarding this domestic protest or the concerns being raised here in Pakistan by opposition, the army, and also the common man in the street? What impact do you see this will have on overall US-Pak relationship?
We are the ones who are in need of money. So if we don't need the money, then there is no problem. The Americans are not going to force us to accept it. If the government actually can improve its governance, if it can reduce its expenditures, if it can motivate the people of Pakistan to generate their own resources, in other words, if we have less corruption and better efficiency, possibly we may not need that money. But since we are not going to have that, we will need this money, sadly.
Mr. Tariq Fathi, many thanks indeed for joining us here on the Eye of the Storm.
That's all the time we have for this week on Eye of the Storm. If you have any questions, comments or feedback, do write into us at thestorm@dawnnews.tv. I'm Amba Shamsi. See you next week.